Hi there, YouTube. Hi there, YouTube. He's a cutie. He's so cute. My name is Tigger. Oh my god, I love you. Okay. Sorry. I really love my cat. Anyway, speaking of cute animals, this video today, I am making awkwardly. Oh, bye, kitty. In order to basically kind of do a little announcement / talking about stuff video about the fact that I am going to go back to living up to my channel name, and I'm going back to vegan. It happened, finally. I didn't change my channel name because I knew it would happen someday, and today is that day, everyone. So, but it's not quite as simple as that. And yeah, and I'm going to tell you first, like, how I came to this decision again, and what exactly my rules are and my stuff is for those of you out there that are curious. So, first off, some of the things that have been inspiring me, or kind of motivating me to think about, sorry, I got cat hair everywhere, including like all up on my lips because kitties are cute and they get all over you. They're cute. Ugh. Anyway, so I was basically, as you guys know, I've talked about before this, in terms of eating habits, I was pescatarian, meaning that I would eat fish, eggs, cheese, and fish, eggs, dairy, but not meat. And that's where I was for quite a while. However, I tended to cheat a lot on weekends, even with that, which is kind of how it's been for a while. I just kind of got to a point of needing to let myself kind of eat whatever I wanted for a bit while I was dealing with some other stuff, and had the lowest motivation in the world for cooking, really low energy, etc., which probably had something to actually do with the food that I was eating that was creating a vicious cycle of not having a lot of energy to cook. But anyway, so that was basically where I was, that I kind of got to a point where I was like, oh shit, I don't think with how bad I've been lately that I could like even call myself a vegetarian right now. That totally sucks. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I need to think really, really hard right now what I'm going to do about this, or at least think kind of sort of ish hard over a week or so what I'm going to do about this, because I have a vegan channel, and I'm already kind of pushing it, eating pescatarian, and like I call myself a vegetarian or a pescatarian out in public, and I'm feeling like a jerk. Oh god, I have to figure this out. And it's okay to let yourself every once in a while have moments or phases where you need to let yourself just eat whatever the hell you want, because sometimes your body has to reset itself and figure things out, etc., stress happens, whatever. But some things happen, like one, I've made tons of, like, veggie friends through YouTube now, and I had a few friends who were all going on the vegan route that had never done that before, and I was kind of like, oh, I remember how awesome that was when I first started, how excited, so I had, like, those feelings, the, like, nostalgia feelings going a little bit, but those did not outweigh my cravings for Hot Pockets. And so there was that. Just like I had some friends who were kind of doing it, but I've made a lot of friends through YouTube. So there's like Alana from I Love Taboo, who's on her vegan journey, and she kicks so much butt. There is Shudra Stargleam on here, who I've watched some of her videos too, and she's fabulous. And she's in an area of the country where it's super, super hard to be vegan, I imagine. And I live in an area of the country where it is the easiest possible thing to do to be vegan. Seriously, the Northwest is like vegan capital of the US. Like vegan capital of the world, probably, if you're in Seattle or Portland. So I was like, oh man, there's that too. And after multiple conversations with, like, my cat and thinking about my spiritual journey, I've decided that, it just made the most sense. Like, with my cat, who's now laying being cute, it was just sort of like, I kind of had this moment where I looked down at her and I thought to myself, and I was just like, oh my god, like, it's that, a lot of you that are out there that are vegetarian have probably had that moment where you're like, I would never eat my pet, why am I eating this thing? like right now, like why am I even craving this? Why would I even want this when I have this beautiful creature that I'm taking care of that is just the same as that creature and has just as much value? There's no logical reason for me to eat one and not the other if I don't need it to survive. So I had one of those moments, which was really intense and kind of motivating for me. Because it wasn't that I wanted to stop being vegetarian. It was just that I was kind of like, blah. I was drained of all motivation there for a little bit. And then spiritually, it was kind of like, I'm starting to get into this nature-based religion that's all about worshiping the earth and worshiping nature and being in nature and serving nature, etc., etc., etc. And I was taking part, and I was starting to, again, take part in one of, like, the worst crimes against Mother Earth there is, and that's factory farming. And at least, and I did it with full knowledge of what was happening and full understanding that I knew it would be temporary, but I didn't know how long temporary it was going to be. But then I also, I found a couple new vegan alternatives to things that didn't exist, like the first time around me being vegan, and I was just like, these are totally delicious, and I would never know the difference, and these are fabulous and totally satisfying, and oh my god, why would I even eat regular ice cream or regular cookies for cookie dough and stuff like that, like. And so I was like, okay, I feel like I have no excuses left. There's nothing left, and I'm feeling pumped, so it's time to do it again. Woo! Vegan friends. So, officially, I don't have to change my channel name. You can continue calling me Vegan Emerald. Although most of you call me Molly, which is my name. So basically what this means is, like, the thing I'm changing the most and the most drastic thing that I'm actually changing at the moment is what is actually going into my mouth and being ingested into me. I don't have a whole lot of, I don't think I have any, like, not vegetarian, non-cruelty free, like, beauty product stuff that I still use that I repurchase. Like, my skincare is 100% vegan at this point, which after, I think, in a couple of weeks, providing my current routine works out well, I'll do a skincare routine. You guys all know what my makeup setup currently is, that everything I have right now, unless I say otherwise, like except my Revlon and my MAC things, which is just a few things, that everything else is cruelty free and a lot of stuff is vegan. I'm up in the air on whether or not I am going to buy, like, non-vegan but all-natural indie beauty stuff or what. I'm a little up in the air on what I'm going to do with that. I think it'll depend on what I see is out there, I guess, which I know kind of sounds bad, but if it's, like, for me, if I'm not getting the things that I want satisfied, I know then the vegan train will not be sustained and it will go off the tracks, and so I need to make sure that I'm cool with that. So I'm not 100% sure on that yet, but I will be buying more and more vegan products. Hopefully, it'd be really cool if my entire makeup routine can eventually, or if everything I buy from this point on can be vegan, but we'll see. I'll let you know when it's not. But this is especially mostly for my food, for things that I am actually ingesting into my body. And so what that means is, so I'm doing, like, for all intents and purposes, you can call me vegan, and, like, anytime there is a "do you have dietary restrictions" question, it'll say, yes, I am vegan. But my caveat is that, so I'm doing, what would be the most accurate term would be, like, vegan-ish locavore, because I've decided I am willing to make an exception for local eggs and dairy, particularly if I can find them from a no-kill farm, which I think I have friends of friends that have those, which would be really cool. I think the only cheat that I have would be, like, Parmesan cheese on my spaghetti. We'll see if I can cut it or not. I feel like the first time when I was vegan, I still every once in a while did that. I made an exception, like, or I did a cheat for Parmesan. But the idea isn't that I'm going to be buying tons of local eggs and cheese and eating them all the time. It's just like that's my protein failsafe, is that I can go down to the farmer's market or to the co-op, and I can pick up some eggs or pick up some cheddar or whatever and have a little extra protein for when I need it. Particularly, like, for instance, like the week after my period, when I have no iron left in my body and I'm bruising like a banana. Good time to eat an egg, or likely more just fill up on spinach, but have protein and stuff in my body. So that's more what that's for. Also honey, I will make an exception for local honey, mostly just because I've been to the bee farms in my city where I live. Honey is actually really popular here in terms of like things that people do. They make honey. It's really easy to find local honey where I live, and I've seen the passion and the care the beekeepers have for the bees, and how the bottom line isn't the profit, it's the relationship between the beekeeper and the bees and the people eating it. So it's a really sustainable system that I've seen so far, that kind of benefits everyone, including the bees. So I'm okay with that, with the local honey. However, when I'm picking up an obviously non-local like granola bar and I see contains milk, eggs, honey, no, I'm not eating it. That is not the idea. And hopefully I'll be eating less and less junky foods anyway, and more whole foods, but that's not the number one goal. So I hope that kind of explains that to you. It's like, for all intents and purposes, I'm going vegan, but I have these protein fail-safes, and the idea is also, it's beyond being vegan and it's going into the being a locavore and eating anything that I can get local. I'm going to try and get local, as long as it's within like a reasonable distance that I can get to, busing, walking, etc. And that it's a price that is sustainable for my life, because I am in college. I do utilize government-funded food sources of sorts, maybe, perhaps, yes. So I have a pretty limited food budget, and so I have to think about that. But yeah, I mean, that's the idea. It's beyond just it's beyond the animals, and it's to everyone involved in making my food. I want to get as much food as I can that I know that it's the workers, the people that are actually doing all like the picking of my vegetables and fruits and stuff, that they're being taken care of too. That's really important to me, and that's easier to find if you find it local. When you find people who are just passionate about growing berries and want to come to a farmer's market and sell their berries, that's fucking awesome. That's how it should be, as opposed to, like thousands of underpaid, undocumented people making nothing and me buying my food from those companies. I'd rather buy it from my neighbors. So yeah, that's the idea, is it's not just vegan, I'm going back to ethical eating in general, and this is going to include, hopefully, like I said, as much whole food as possible. Therefore, it's going to be as much non-GMO, all natural, organic as possible too. I think kind of local is kind of like the number one category, and it's like, oh, when I can't find it local, hopefully I can at least find it organic and regional or whatever. For me, I think bananas are kind of right out, because you have to get them from Ecuador, and what American companies do with banana growers is stupid and screwy, and it screws them over, and it screws their communities over, and it makes American companies lots of money, and it's frustrating. So I'm thinking I'm kind of right out on bananas, maybe. I'm still debating. Sorry, I'm getting rambly. I've been really, really excited about this and really wanting to tell all of you that a lot of you have really, really inspired me, and I've been really, really wanting to be as honest as I can on my channel. And that's part of what this channel was for. I started it when I became vegan the first time, so that I'd have motivation to keep going, and that's exactly what you guys have served to do. Again, is to keep me going. I'm a little rusty at this because it's I've been making vegan food this whole time, but not as often. So any recipes that all of you veg heads out there want to share with me, please do so down below. Video responses are great. messages are awesome. If any of you have questions about, I guess, like ingredient stuff or I guess recipe stuff for me, I do have a few things, or general advice. Like, if I know you guys said you wanted to see more vegetarian videos in the future, so this is along those same lines. Like I've said before, I'm under no pretense that consumer demand is the only problem when it comes to, or is even the root problem when it comes to the meat industry and the dairy industry and the egg industry, the animal industry. I'm under no pretense that's the root that's the root problem. The root problem is crony capitalism completely. However, that does not mean that I, as a free agent in the world, that I, as a thinking human being, can't give my finger to the factory farms and say, screw you, I'll find it anywhere I can. That's not you. I can still do whatever I can within my personal power to make a little difference. And at least say that I don't need to be controlled by fast food. So, yeah, I'm going to need all the support I can get from you guys, particularly once summer ends and the produce goes scarce. It gets harder. So, and I'm sure a lot of you who try to eat seasonally have probably felt the burn of winter before. Yeah. So, I hope all of you are having a wonderful day, and I hope you all talk to me in the comments. I'm going to post this tonight as I'm filming this, so that the day I film this will be my, veganiversary a year from now, or whatever. So, yeah, I will talk to you all soon. Love you guys. Bye!